Example number 387 as to why you need to gatekeep your hobbies. This isn't anything new. We're not breaking new ground by saying that D&D, Dungeons and Dragons, not those hack writers from the later stages of the Game of Thrones show. No, no, no. We're talking about the old sword and sorcery, tabletop RPG game that, well, used to be a staple of nerddom back in the 80s, helped trigger the satanic panic of the same decade, and is the grassroots inspiration of, well, just about every one of your favorite fantasy-based RPGs now in the video game space. It's undeniable as to the influence of Dungeons and Dragons. It's just the long-term viability now, it's looking a little bit trepidatious, because you got D&D is coming out with a new player's handbook. Hasbro and Wizards, yes, Wizards of the Coast, that's the parent company, obviously. They erased the white guy, lol. Yeah, of course, you know, your biggest demographic, just go ahead and get rid of them because representation is important. But yes, as Thor Odinson points out, okay, I'm sure that's a real name, I'm sure that's the real Thor, they made it clear that they want white guys out of the hobby. There's been mistakes made in years past where people assume that D&D players were all, you know, white dudes in a basement. I mean, it's the same way where you just think, classically speaking, of a Star Wars fan. Do you think of the freaks on social media? Or when you used to hear Star Wars fan, you would just kind of have an image of somebody in your mind. Yeah, that's actually what it is. But anyways, no. Your idea of a Dungeons and Dragons aficionado is not actually a Dungeons and Dragons aficionado. It's Anime Avatar 683 on Twitter, which has been a faulty assumption for a lot of years and gets more and more false every day. And so in my viewpoint, honestly, guys like me can't leave soon enough for this hobby. Interesting. Wizards of the Coast executive producer Kyle Brink, who's looking awfully white himself, but good for him. He wants to drive out your core demographic. I'm sure that'll end up working out well for you, because what you're replacing it with is something interesting. Okay, funny how they use this logic after pushing us out of D&D by screaming about how they want to accommodate their worldviews in our fantasy game. And here we have a Jacob Shelby. Who the hell is this? I have no goddamn idea at all whatsoever. Yes, a big D&D guy, huge platform. This is who Wizards of the Coast is pandering to. Not that we need another take on this topic, but what would Twitter be without another useless opinion? So here's mine. It's already somebody who's got very good self-esteem, who's definitely quite assertive, doesn't have to go the route of overt pity in order to try to raise their own, you know, worthless take on the world. Not everything is made for you. I don't like this, totally fine. Don't incorporate it into your world. The end. It's really that easy. See, guys, Dungeons and Dragons is for everyone except for the people that we don't want in it anymore. We want a Dungeons and Dragons that looks like this instead of the cool artwork that we've seen before, you know, that's sorcery and dragons and fire and swords and armor. No. We just want side shaves and fat broads with falcons. Jesus Christ. Okay. This is what happens, man, when your hobbies get run over. This is what happens when the freaks in charge are simps and blue-pilled cucks that are just willing to do anything, bend over backwards, ruin an entire industry just for the theoretical idea that maybe they could get their wiener touched. The new art style in D&D has become so generic because they look like stock photos. I mean, yo, take a look at this, okay? That right there, does that scream? That just looks like, I don't know, somebody's DeviantArt page, okay? Does that, oh no, actually, it's a Getty's photo, okay? Same with this, okay? So you got what? Asian dwarf, Asian elf or something like that, and it looks so bad, but that's official D&D art. And yeah, the way that it's composited, it's exactly what that is, okay? That's their reference material instead of the decades and decades of source material. They're just out there and tracing some of the most uninspired shit that you are likely to ever see in your entire life. But don't worry, because there's more activists that are out there, and once they've got their foot in the door, once that wedge has been created, you've seen the mass of some of these people. They aren't going to be stopped. They aren't going to be stopped until everything is burnt to the ground. So you got woke activists want Games Workshop now, which has already seceded some ground to these freaks with the female custodies to turn orcs into Dungeons and Dragons orcs, the ones that we've seen before, the ones that just look like, I don't know, your standard Whole Foods location, okay? Who do we contact at Games Workshop to move them in this direction? Well, technically, if you're leaving the leakers and their sources, you kind of have to go through Amazon in order to make any of those changes. A woke activist has called for Games Workshop to radically redesign Warhammer 40K's orcs in order to make them look like recently redesigned orcs in Dungeons and Dragons. Fantastic. Ex-user Norn Queen Kaya, sure, posted, I think the 40k orcs could learn from the orcs in D&D. Wow, they're two different franchises. Just because they're both sword and sorcery doesn't mean that they're the same thing, you idiot. Who do we contact at Games Workshop to make them, to move them in this direction? In a follow-up, she attempted to make her own activism look like a troll or bait post sharing a gift from Nickelodeon's iCarly series that states, and now we wait. I mean, come on, man. That's just one of those, classic examples of, oh, here's a really bad take that I have on the internet, and then you just throw the shovel of dirt over the wall, and then you just scream misogyny, or it was a joke, bro, when they just throw it back tenfold. However, her previous post makes it clear that she is indeed a woke activist that wants to ruin franchises. You don't say! In fact, she even appears to take joy in it. Back in April, she wrote, now the 40k is successfully woke and conquered, and Helldivers is just about there. And now, fast forward a couple of months, it really kind of looks like it. Where are we going to go next? The Battletech? You just won't be happy until all the guys who built this stuff up are in ruins. Just kind of like you and your cats, that is. She added, oops, sorry, I didn't mean to tweet this. It was meant for a secret council of woke conquest. Oh my god, you're just so funny. As noted by novelist and YouTuber John Delarose, Nora Queen Kaya was one of the moderators on the Trench Crusade Discord. Wow, you don't say. As noted by ex-user Lady Runesong, in the Trench Crusade Discord moderators were tracking people to X. Okay. Lady Runesong wrote, I got the boot. I was friendly for a few posts I was allowed to make, so I guess my crime was putting a questiony emoji face on 2 pearl-clutching posts. My history was wiped along with the general and TC channels 2 days ago, so I guess they are tracking down everyone's X accounts. You don't say. Delarose also noted that his videos were he was contacted by Norn Queen Kaya on X and was asked to delete a post he made on X. Good luck on that one, stupid. He commented, so it sounds reasonable on the surface, right? But I didn't go post this person's picture. There's a Discord moderator's profile, and Discord is public. I joined it. It's on their website, so this is a public thing. And then he asked, so it's like, so you can't post public things that are public on Twitter. Why is that a problem? Now, the real problem is I pointed out this is a woke activist who is a moderator in here, and and that's what they are trying to make not known under the guise of it's about a profile picture being posted. This is a kind of censorship sort of tactic. Not kind of, very much is. Delarose also shared a screenshot of DMs with that Park Place he exchanged with Norn Queen Kaya after he was indeed banned from the game's Discord. Okay, Delarose asked to be unbanned, but was informed that he would not be because of the YouTube video he made that showed the moderator's face and accurately described the individual without lying. God, man, they're all cut from the same cloth, huh? They're just petty tyrants looking to wield power wherever they can. That's why they always want to try to get in through the back channels to ruin anything that they can, because in real life, they have no power, okay? They're just rank and filed, numbered individuals that may or may not have a part-time job where they're just pushed around, cogs in a system, thinking that, they believe all the bullshit that they were told their entire life, that they're special and unique individuals with a unique voice and perspective on the world, when in actuality, they're nothing. They're idiots, and when you give idiots power, this is how they use and abuse said power. Yeah, man, like I said at the beginning, gatekeep your hobbies, because Warhammer has fallen. Dungeons and Dragons, it is definitely fallen. Battletech, The Witcher, we'd be here all day if it meant naming all the IPs and franchises that have succumbed to the woke mind virus, for lack of a better term. But it's true. It's 100% true. It's just now is a point in time where you can go ahead, because thank God these people are as stupid as they claim everybody else is, because at least they're braggadocious about their intentions. They will go ahead and post them everywhere and think that they can go ahead and retract them under the guise of it was just a joke, bro. But when they tell you who they are, all you need to do is listen so that you can go ahead and act accordingly. So that's why I think this stuff is important. While I don't necessarily have a personal stake in Dungeons and Dragons, I would like for it to remain the Dungeons and Dragons that made it popular to begin with, and not whatever in the goddamn blue hell this crap is. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.